Welcome back to Studio 4. We have Mackenzie Lockhart from the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention here to talk about boundaries and the process of setting your boundaries and enforcing them. So Mackenzie, thanks for coming in because this is an important topic we got to talk about.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you for having me. Yeah, I think it's important before we kind of dig into it a little bit more that we define what boundaries are.
Yes.
And I think the simplest way to define it is basically a person saying what is okay and what is not okay. And I mean, you think about your fence in your yard. Hey, you're okay to come this far. You are not okay to get any closer. I mean, and so that's typically what boundaries are, is just what is okay and what is not okay.
Right. And there's also so why do, speaking of boundaries, like why do people struggle with enforcing the boundaries?
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. People do struggle with that often. I think sometimes, I don't know if, I know I can relate to this, is that you have that people pleaser inside of you.
Yes,
and so,
that's hard.
And we're taught, be polite, be respectful, you don't want to offend them. You don't want to have that, maybe that fear of rejection possibly. And so we tend to just be like, hey, well, I'm not going to set this boundary. I'm just going to give in to what this other person is wanting.
And whenever we think of boundaries, most of the time our mind kind of leans towards, oh, physical. You're in my space. You're in my bubble. But there's also like emotional boundaries. There's intellectual boundaries, which I didn't even think about. And also time. Time and energy.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you're exactly right. And so it's really easy to think about boundaries in a physical stance, but sometimes those other things can be just as important to set those healthy boundaries and to figure out what is a good boundary for you. And I think that's an important thing, as well as recognizing what you as Mari have as a boundary and what I as Mackenzie have as a boundary might look a little different. However, it's important that we both respect each other's boundaries and what you're okay with and what I'm okay with.
And what are some examples of, for example, looking at it from the emotional stance, what are some good, healthy boundaries to set?
Well, I think it's one of those things, you really have to trust your gut and knowing what is good for you. I referenced before about how like love bombing, that's a term that has been going around a lot, and recognizing, hey, this is somebody that's possibly trying to kind of get past a little bit of my emotional boundary. And so just being upfront about that, whether if it's a physical, emotional, whatever boundary it might be for you, is being able to have that courage to say, hey, I'm not okay with that, or hey, I'm not comfortable with that. And when you're on the flip side of it, being able to respect where that person is coming from, and not push them one way or the other, just respecting it as is.
And what are some examples of the time and energy stance of it? Like, what are some healthy boundaries?
Yeah, and again, I mean, some of those healthy boundaries, it's going to depend on the person, right? I heard someone explain it before about, it's like, if your life is like this life wheel, right? And it's like almost like a pie chart. You only have 24 hours in a day. So what are you giving your time to? What are you giving your energy to? If I'm going to be giving more energy towards work, guess what? That's time that's going to get sucked out of another piece of my pie somewhere.
That is such a good example.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so just, and also, again, when you're expressing that, sometimes we have the fear of, is this person going to respond poorly to me setting this boundary? You invited me to something, I have to say, hey, I'm so sorry, I can't make that. And I, might be fearful of, oh, hey, you might respond poorly. But we have to remember that the people that love us and care about us, they're going to respect and honor those boundaries. And the people that don't, they didn't intend on trying to respect those boundaries in the first place.
Well, Mackenzie, thanks for coming on and telling us a little bit more about boundaries. And where can we go for more information?
Well, I sent over some more resources, so hopefully that will be in the on the website today. But as regards to just suicide prevention stuff, please always check us out at afsp.org/West Texas.